change it now, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but on the agenda, it says another date, so we have to
Okay.
usually
We
say
can change the agenda there.
just letting you know, it's December 3rd, December 17th are the two to go on.
December 3rd, December 17th, and January 7th, right? No? Okay. We are streaming live.
Yep. All right. Terry, we're all
Everything
set
can
to go.
go. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Just say my name if you need me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, this is the Northborough Cultural Council, and I'm calling the meeting to order. I am Terry Underwood, and it is Thursday, January 21st, and I need to read the open meeting rules from Governor Baker about remote meetings. This open meeting of Northborough Cultural Council is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends a requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the Northborough Cultural Council are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows Northborough Cultural Council to meet entirely remote, so as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not be featuring public comments. Okay. I need to first take attendance, and so we have Selby, myself, Craig,
Here.
Suzanne,
Here.
and Lori,
Yes.
and Leslie.
Here.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone.
And Vic,
And Beck, sorry. uh,
here.
yes, thank you. All right. And so the next one is the approval of minutes. And so in our agenda, it says 114, but we actually did not meet that evening. So the approval of minutes is actually, okay, I printed out several minutes.
December 3rd and December 17th.
December 3rd and December 17th. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion on these?
I make a
Any
motion.
comments or, okay?
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve December 3rd meeting minutes.
Is there second? Okay, would it be the will of the committee to group these, or do we need to address them separately?
I'm happy to group if we can do that.
Okay.
Allowed
Vic, would you like to reword? Oh,
I was absent on December 3rd, so I'm going to abstain. I have to abstain from that.
okay,
we should probably do it separately because you need a count of people separately.
got it. Okay, so we're going to go for December 3rd first. And so Selby is going to abstain.
Abstain.
And
I need a second, please.
I seconded.
Suzanne seconded. Okay, and Craig
Yes.
and Vic
Approve.
and Lori.
Yes.
That yeah, yes, okay. And Suzanne, you were second. And Leslie.
Approve.
And I approve as well.
I'm sorry, Suzanne cannot approve it. She was not there the 3rd. Will you hold on? I looked at different places. Does it say that you were there? I also have a spreadsheet alongside the Word docs. Give me 1 second.
That's fine. I'll come back when I'm done.
I want to say that in open meeting law,
Yeah,
I
think
I think as long as she's caught up with everything that she's able to vote on minutes. That was my understanding of the rules. So do we have everybody's looks like unanimous on that, unless anything else that I missed? So December 3rd is approved, December 17th. Moving right along. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I wasn't here.
Leslie wasn't there. Okay.
I'll make a motion. I'll make the same motion to approve the December 17th meeting minutes.
I second.
Okay. We have a first with Bick and a second with Selvey. And I'll go across the squares now. Craig
I approve.
and Selvey,
Approve.
Bick,
Approve.
Lori,
Yes.
Suzanne,
I approve.
Leslie. Oh, you were abstaining. Okay, got it. All right. So, and I approve as well. So it passes.
Thank you.
Okay. And anything from going down on the agenda, treasurer's report? Anything to discuss?
I've paid, we had one more 2020 grant come in. I think if we need exact numbers, I can tell you what's still to be paid. That all got incorporated into the Massachusetts annual report. But I think we still have about 7 to 8 grants that were approved for delay or we're still waiting to come in. So that's fine. Additionally, I paid what I think is the last virtual Culture Fest payment.
Okay.
Yeah, Leslie. Leslie, were you going to ask?
Yes, did you hear from everybody?
For Virtual Culture Fest?
Yes, there was one person that I did remind.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so I just got her her paperwork. So that one's taken care of. So for Virtual Culture Fest, that leaves everybody but Michelle Tang. Never heard back from.
We can follow up with her again.
Okay.
So Vic, do you know her? Are you?
Yeah, yes, but she hasn't replied. So let me get back to her again.
Right. So at some point we need.
Would it be appropriate if I gave her like a deadline, like respond
by Monday?
Yeah, something like that.
I agree.
Like end of December 31st. It's like 10 days away. Something and not December.
January 30th.
January. I'm like not even the right year yet.
We know what you're thinking.
Yep.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
And then we'll cut it off. We won't
Vic
change
just
it.
wants to be back in 2020.
I don't know.
Not even funny. Not even funny.
So with that last artist paid, I believe we still had outstanding costs for web hosting or URLs or some of the technology we set up for file storage for Virtual Culture Fest. So if we have any of those receipts coming in that we can pay, then we'll be able to close the books on Virtual Culture Fest.
Perfect.
The next thing I would say is with Selvey's very kind help, I did submit part 2 of the Massachusetts annual report, which is the financial section. So that is done. And while I was in there, I would remind the rest of the team that there are 5 more sections to the annual report, including meetings that were held and other documentations to submit. I think somewhere in February was the next deadline. So just trying to be a good partner and remind everybody else that has responsibility for those sections to go check those out.
Will do. Yes.
Through the chair, if I may piggyback on Craig's thoughts, we need to get in the Virtual Culture Fest report into MCC to Luis Cotto. And Vic, I know you've been working on the survey results, so we need to get them in as well.
Completed. I sent that to Terry.
She sent that to me.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
So I'm working on them. I'm just you guys are have your capes on this week, and mine's I think got chewed up in the dryer. Still working on these. Okay. Let's see.
So that would be all that I have.
Okay. And thank you very much, Suzanne. I got the thank you notes in my mailbox. I think the next step for me is to just fill them out and mail them. And that's to all of the virtual Culture Fest participants, correct?
Yes, the words are already in there. It's just
Okay.
a matter of the addresses.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much. That's a lot of heavy lifting there. So greatly appreciated. Next one, next date. Let's keep that rolling. So in keeping with our current schedule, I propose a Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Does that still work for people? Okay. Now, because we missed the 14th, would it be appropriate to go, well, based on what happens tonight, how quickly we can move through, would it be appropriate to go for another meeting on the 28th? Okay, I think I'd like to, if we can close out some things, I'm going to work on crushing the rest of the report stuff this weekend.
I think that would give us more flexibility with the approaching March 1st deadline for having everything done.
Okay, and then maybe using working groups, we can also keep everything flowing. So I propose the next one, provided they have somebody that can cover us, for January 28th, 7 p.m., if that works with everybody. Okay. And is it reasonable to go for another date in February? At least reach out in case something happens again with scheduling. I'm looking at the 11th of February.
I was just going to say, could we go 2 weeks out?
Yes. Yep.
I think
Does that?
Just the 11th.
Yes. 11th, which is a Thursday, 7 p.m. again, or should I be asking? So I know some of the meetings people were asking for 6:30. I'm available for 6:30. So if you guys want to swap, as long as somebody's available to cover us, it's fine with me. What's the will of the committee?
Either time works personally.
Would you guys like earlier?
It doesn't matter to either. No preference.
Lori, do you have a preference?
It's good. I mean, I would like 6:30 would be a little better for me.
6:30, okay.
It's fine for
Work
me.
with 7 also, so.
I'll go with the
Either is fine.
majority.
Okay, I will ask for 6:30.
What,
then.
next week and for the following week, or?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I will request, and use the 7 o'clock as a backup time if that doesn't work. Okay, perfect. Next one is the grant cycle submissions. Okay, and I know people have done a lot of work on keeping us organized, and I'm hopeful that working groups and have had an opportunity to look at so we had 22 grants submissions. 22? No, that would be 21. 21. And dividing them up gave each of us independent work to do. And so shall we go down the list and see what people have to say or recommendations? Suzanne.
I recommend we start from the bottom and go up.
Oh, yes, somebody had to leave early. Leslie, yes. Okay.
Okay, so my first one was the light cross-cultural importance. And it's put on St. Bernadette's art. Is that, wait a minute, let me see if I'm getting this mixed up here.
It says St. Bernadette's.
Yeah.
I have another monitor I'm working with.
What I want to say is the art teacher is running it. And it's, obviously the school children, and this was grades 4 through 8. And it was a lot about the Chinese Lantern Festival. going over the tales, traditions, the symbolism. And they're actually going to have the lanterns put out in the yard, outside for the, for the greater community to see. This one, after doing the whole thing, I gave it a 25. They're asking for 400. The cost is 400.
Okay, that's the total cost.
Yeah, the total cost of the project is 400. They're asking us for 400. Yeah, Peg, yeah, it's the art teacher. I'm sorry, I did write that down. And they have a date where my other ones do not, but this one has a date of February 26th.
Okay.
And it's free, grades 4 through 8, mainly school children, about the signs of light. They're actually Chinese, Indian, and American culture. The symbolism, what light means in each one. I really like this one. I mean, it's for students. So just, that's it.
From where I'm sitting, it sounds like it ticks all the boxes, that serving the community, and something that would really be enjoyable. Does anybody have any comments or input on that? Is it appropriate?
Is it like a show and tell, or is it interactive with the children? Like, what about the lanterns? Are they making lanterns or just talking about symbolism?
Learning all about it. I'm not quite sure. But they are going to have, like I said, the lanterns outside, and they're going to light them up. So like, the community can see it too.
I also like this one because we've never had, I don't think we haven't had an Asian cultural event before. So this is good.
So the kids are going to learn about different culture. And it doesn't Indian and American.
Indian and American. Okay.
You're going to learn all about it. Symbolism, traditions, which I think we need that in this world right now. I don't know. Learning about other people and culture. And so anyway, that one I gave it a 25.
Okay. Selvi?
I like that they will include the community by displaying them outdoors, and I like the diversity aspect of it. It's wonderful.
I do too. I'm ask a general question. Since it's 400, the request is 400, but the total is 400. I think that's one of the new guidelines, is that it's more lenient this year, right? So they can ask the maximum of their total requirement.
Yes,
that's correct.
Yeah. I thought I also read that you could even give them more. Did it say that? If there's you could give them more money if you really want to. But anyway, they're asking for the full amount, so we don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
For the recording, I think it's important that we say we could give them more if we had extra funding that had carried over for the last year. But right now, we have basically half of what is being asked in total, just for the record.
Correct. Okay, so the finance side, we can work out at another time, but for the sake of moving along on our meeting here this evening, and I am sensitive that Leslie needs to leave. So is it appropriate that we vote to approve or disapprove the request? Selvi?
I have a suggestion. I think we should just go through all the grants and then look to see if there are any grants that specifically and surely does not meet the criteria, and vote on the disapproval.
Okay.
If
all right.
there is a need for it. And then we can go over it again if that's okay with the committee.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan so that we can keep moving.
Right. Okay, so we're not talking about amounts yet.
No. Nope.
Okay, next one is bake it till you make it. Now the person applying for this one is from Southborough. She said, I mean, on the application, it says the project location says Southborough, Northborough, worldwide. I did speak to her. When she said for the project, she doesn't have a project date. On the application, it says as soon as possible. Okay. But she's looking for when I spoke to her, she's looking maybe for June-ish. And what she's doing, it's for school-aged children And it's a game that she's putting together. And it's like for mental health.
Okay.
Coping stress, stuff that's put into the game. And she has a graphic artist. Let me just see what I. Now she's asked, oh, okay, the project is $2,000. She plans, what she's gonna do is give it to bring these games to the schools, the libraries. Now she's only asking us for the money, but on her thing, she said that Southborough, Northborough, worldwide. I have a question, and I didn't notice it. I noticed it after I spoke to her, because she's only asking us for the money, okay, for the full amount.
Okay. I guess I would have a question that, yes, if it's a game that can somehow be administered or used for multiple communities, I guess I would also wonder why she hasn't approached or applied for a grant in Southborough as well to assist in the funding here, because that just that's a steep amount.
I mean, this is for making the game.
Okay.
The supplies, and she's not getting additional income obviously from anyone else.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm wondering if she knows that she can ask other. Maybe she thought that she can only apply to one, CC, one, local LCC.
I can call her. I said to her, I told her we were having a meeting. Today I may be calling you back. She's, that's fine. Anything you need. She's this is something. When will
I guess that would be that would be a really good thought on that, Bick. And I would love if you could go back, Leslie, and encourage her to find additional funding.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I only got 19 points.
Okay.
Can I say that over? Okay, 19 points out of 25. Just because there's no definite anything. I mean, I think it's something that would be people could use, because I think mental health is big among young children. Yep. So it deals, the game will talk about coping skills, and I think she's getting a meeting with people and children and finding out what they need for the game. And it's being put together by her graphic artist.
Okay.
And she does have a mental health background.
Okay.
So Leslie, it's not an event. It's a game creation.
Yes.
And then what does she do? She sells them. She uses them somewhere. What's she going to do with it?
Well, in her application, she's going to bring it to libraries, the elementary and middle schools. It's good for elementary and middle, she said. And that'll be free. She does want to maybe be able to get it into like bookstores, but for the purpose of the application, it'll be free. Like, she wants to bring it to libraries and the school system, not the high school, middle school and elementary.
I guess it goes without saying that this is going to be COVID sensitive, based on when people can gather in libraries or schools again, to be able to touch games, or how, I don't know. I guess I don't have a clear sense of how that would happen. And maybe it would be doable in the fall, provided everybody's vaccinated or that we're back face to face.
Do you want me to ask her how this will work?
I think that would be appropriate. Just, what her thinking is, because we just don't know.
Okay. And also, I mean, I think it's a great idea, but obviously she won't get the funding is not given until she submits her, right? Until after it's created.
That's correct. We only reimburse after the event or project is taken place. So she would have to give us all the invoices and whatnot. And those were my questions too. So thank you for bringing it up. Also, just as a kind reminder, because of COVID-19 guidelines by MCC, we no longer need to have a definite venue and or a date
Right.
on an event, on an application.
Okay.
So, but however, we can modify our approval letters, kind of asking our applicants to get back to us as soon as they know the date of their event and or a venue, or if it's going to be virtual.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
can keep in touch with them.
What do you, all right, so I'll let anyone have any other questions I can ask her?
I guess my area of interest, I was listening to you, Leslie, was does she really have a firm number of people that could actually use this and be benefited by it?
Okay, well, you said Southborough, Northborough, worldwide.
Then that's my
Okay, how many people?
Yeah.
just
So I
some
guess,
some kind of assurance that, you know, we would love to help fund these kinds of ideas, but some assurance that it would actually get used and implemented,
Okay,
and by how many.
how many people? Okay. All right,
That is one of the data points in our criteria, is how many Northborough residents would be impacted.
and I guess that could be determined by maybe she's going to approach third graders or the fourth grade across the district or something. I mean, those are just ideas, but how would she connect with the librarians at the middle school or elementary schools? Just some detail would be really helpful for us to have a better understanding. But you're right, and I'm glad Selby, others pointed this out. She needs it's reimbursement and that's the process. Can you say it again, Leslie? You're on mute.
no, I just said right.
Oh, okay. All right. And
My last one
okay.
is, it's, the project title is Hip Hop Dance Chair Exercise for Seniors. And I have it over here, and it will take place at the Whitney Place Assisted Living.
Okay.
There's no date. What it says on the application is it will take place around Black History Month. The amount of people it will serve, about 80 for senior citizens, and it's free. The total project is $380, and they're asking us for $280. And I tried to call them. I'm waiting for them to call me back because my question was, how often is this going to happen? Is it a one-time class, or is it like a once a week, 3 weeks in a row? So I don't know. Would that even matter?
It's a good question, but I do see that that it's going to happen around Black History Month, so maybe it is just specific for that month.
Okay, but will it be a couple times, or is it one time?
Yeah,
I think it matters, because if it's a lot of the residents of Whitney Place each time, that could be 3 times 40 as opposed to just 1 times 40.
Yeah, I think
I would like to know that.
Okay, that's what I have written. How often is it going to happen?
Yeah, I think it expands the reach, right? It's not like 20 people benefiting, but it could be 20 times 3 or something like that.
Right.
Oh, got it.
So I gave it a 20 out of 25. I gave it all 4s because there were certain things. Because is the on the community benefit, is the applicant a city or town resident? It's put on by musicdance.edu. That's what it says in the application line. And they're out of, I think it said Randolph. So I said no. So that kind of gave that a 4. And then on the planning, because they don't, you see, no date yet. And then it's a venue. So I gave it a 4 because it didn't really have a date. Does that matter? I mean, I know it doesn't matter, but are we still? I gave it a 4, and I gave it a 4 because for the budget, because all the money is for all is all salary. Because it says, is there a budget for marketing, publicity? No, it's all for. But I think they have a big social media. That's what all these ones said. Media, the internet.
I'm going to take a shot at it here and say that maybe, given that they're out of Randolph, perhaps they are going to multiple assisted living places and doing this, and that's how they're able to bring like a road show. That's what I'm getting out of that.
Right. That's true. She's probably going around.
That'd be my guess.
So anyway, that's it. I gave
Okay.
that a 20. Because I think that's good that's something important for senior citizens.
Okay.
They need the exercise, and the chair. My mother used to do the chair yoga in Florida. It gets them moving. I think it's important, right?
And it's social.
Social.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why they would not be able to do 80 at once. They would have to break this up into sessions unless you had like a football field, because nobody can sit next to each other.
True.
That's true. Or is it virtual or in person?
Well, she said it was going to happen at Whitney Place.
Okay.
That was the location. It didn't say virtual.
Okay.
All right. So you're right. Maybe it says 80 people, but I'm still going to ask how often.
Yeah. And is that 80 just for Whitney Place, or is that, hey, we're going to different places? I'm just breaking it down. That's all.
Well, I have a call into them and they haven't gotten
it. Perfect.
So that's it. Those are my 3.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know is there any, before Leslie goes, is there anything else that we needed her here for voting? Are we?
No, that's it. Number 5 is just other business.
Yeah. Through the chair, I mean, I don't see anything that needs to be disapproved right now out of those 3 grants that Leslie has evaluated. I think we just need to find out more information. They all sounded good. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the rest of our members agree or not, but.
Well, like cross-cultural with St. Bernadette's, did anyone have any questions that you need me to call? I feel good about that one because they've done a lot of projects. Anyone have any questions that you want me to call them?
Not really.
Okay.
Oh, no, Bick, you had a question on how is it actual lanterns that's going to be or something? How did you phrase that?
Yeah, what is the actual, was it the lantern? The board game I had a question on. Aside from she's going to create this board game, but is there any event involved? I mean, once she's done, is she going to then volunteer and share this board game and, drop it off at the schools? We've got a couple middle schools, a couple elementary schools. Does every school get one? Is she going to sit there and explain it, play with the kids? Like what happens after the creation, or does she really need to just ask money for the creation only?
Okay, good.
That's what the money. I don't think that's what the money is for. The creation of the game.
Yeah, if it's creation only, it doesn't really benefit anyone. I mean, it could benefit Northborough. It could benefit Florida. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really tie it to our community.
I guess it would be important to know if she plans on presenting or meeting.
How does she plan to share the product?
Yeah, you're going to walk in and drop it off, or are you going to?
Yeah, I mean,
that was definitely within the question that I asked about how many people did she think would be using it.
Okay.
Just more information on the user base.
Yeah, I guess a way to phrase it is that if you're going to be creating this game, how are you going to launch it? How are you going to introduce it?
That's a great question.
Awareness, so that you get people excited about it and go to, say, the Trotter Middle School or Milliken Middle School librarians and talk to them and say, hey, I want to do this. But if it's during COVID and none of these places can meet, that's just, just ideas and thoughts, I guess, that would
absolutely
be helpful.
Those are great questions. All right, I will get in touch.
I think we're good, and thank you for coming tonight. I know you have to buzz.
Okay. Are we having a formal meeting next Thursday?
Next Thursday, I think.
Formal?
Yes. Formal, yes.
Okay.
If we need to break out into working groups or something else develops, we'll let you know.
Where's Suzanne?
She's hiding behind some balloons, I think.
She had to step away for a second.
Okay. All right, bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Okay. So Leslie, who would like to go next? Does anybody have, because I'm learning from this as well.
Looks
And
like
I'll-
Craig Dixon. Craig?
Do you want to go, Craig?
I'm fine to go next. So I'm sorry, I had stepped away when Leslie started. Is everybody following along in the panel book or on the shared spreadsheet?
I just printed out this spreadsheet and I'm just going down each of the numbers.
Okay,
And
so,
then I have the panel, the one of the spreadsheets, and I'm just
Right.
looking at notes.
so I'm looking at the spreadsheet and not at your smiling faces. I had request 108, expressive arts therapy, that came in. This is a very interesting grant request. It'll take me a moment to describe it. And the key thing here we have to consider is the applicability and the context of the request. The request has come in from Healing Garden Support. This is an absolutely fabulous nonprofit entity, 501c3, that has been ongoing. I did not know about it, but I believe they physically operate out of Harvard. It is a comprehensive center that is there for the rehabilitation of cancer patients. Maybe some of you guys already knew about this organization. I did not.
They applied last year, Craig.
They applied last year. You're right.
Yeah.
They did.
I recall this.
Yeah, we loved their program, but they were so far away from Northborough, it wasn't centric to Northborough.
Okay, in this year's grant, they do specifically say that they have 17 Northborough residents that are clients of their program. I think that's all the demographic that's necessary. They did provide a little bit more in the grant. I don't think that's necessarily relevant. 17, the program, again, they provide a suite of services, but the one that I believe out of their entire operating budget they're looking for support with was where they use art. They have various art teachers and volunteers to come, and as a therapeutic post medical issue therapy, they're helping them virtually with art. So this will be an ongoing running program. It's not a single event. It's a service that they provide. They were looking for the amount of money to help them with their ongoing budget. I looked at their annual report, their last year's annual report. They were $750,000 a year operation. What they were requesting for, I think, is just the small portion that is the art therapy. It's hard to separate those out. I don't think we really have to get down to the dollars, though. They do have multiple different sources, including their own fundraising, corporate benefactors. They do mention that they apply to multiple LCCs for funding. They are asking us for $500 of their stated $13,840 cost, I think, again, for this art program. So, I think what's key here is if we have reviewed them before and have made a decision in prior years before. I'm sorry, I did not recall that one. I have my concerns that while it's an absolutely wonderful program, this isn't really in the mainstream about culture.
I just wanted to add that last year we did not have any numbers of Northborough residents being served indicated in their application. And I remember Terry reaching out to them. She had just joined us at that point, and
oh, good memory.
yeah, they just couldn't give us a number then. I think this year they took that and they came back with a number indicating the benefits for Northborough residents.
I think, Craig, I hear that you have concern about the content of what they're doing. I don't, but I think I'd like to probably read their application for myself to see if I agree with you. Because just remember from what they did last year, and if it's the same program, I thought that we liked it. We just couldn't support the fact that we didn't know if any Northborough resident took advantage of it. So they addressed that gap this time. So, you know, they may get less funding or nothing, depending on what we have for budget. They're kind of far out, right?
I think it would be prudent for us to pause on this one to allow you guys to additionally look at the application, and I could answer some other questions. Again, you know, this is just such an absolutely fabulous program, and certainly very, very valuable to all of their clients, because this is a very large ongoing entity. You know, I have a little bit of a concern if we say yes in a given year, you know, do we become part of their regular funding source for every other year? What will we do short term, long term? I would add one other thing. I had told you guys in December, we received a letter in the mail from a Northborough resident who wanted to let us know how terrific a program was that was applying for a grant. This is it.
Oh.
That letter that I copied and sent to you, you can see it in the application package. It's in there as an attachment. This is Allen. Ms. Allen here in Northborough wrote a very wonderful letter. It's very kind of her. And you can see that the benefit and the meaningfulness of this program to a lot of people. Again, you know, I don't know what our responsibility is for arts, culture, and, you know, STEM kinds of things versus this kind of medical therapeutic via arts. So again, perhaps we think about this one and we revisit it with everybody checking their notes on last year as well.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything to add?
I just want to add that they are targeting a very underserved segment of our population.
That's a very good point. I'm very fascinated by this, and I'm pleased that Vic, you're right. They address that gap. So I think that's really helpful. So if we could, I guess I would just ask everybody to take a look at that one and to be able to give some feedback. And maybe that's one that we can take a look at next meeting. Do you want to keep going down the list, Craig? Okay.
Yes, please. So the next one that I have is John Root back again with a new program. I think you guys will remember the name and certainly the wonderful programs that he's put on here in our community. We have been granting to him for the last 2 years that Sylvie captured in our build-up materials here. He has a new program, and I did reach out to him for a little more information previously. His 2020 grant that we approved is still pending. We approved him to delay that and his presentation to some of the groups here in town. That has not happened yet. And so I wanted to be clear that that program was substantively different from this one on bees and butterflies and such. And he came back and says, yes, it definitely is. It's a whole new program that he's put together. So that's wonderful. I know we've gotten good feedback on some of his prior programs. To further describe this though, he's put together this virtual presentation on wildlife, bees and butterflies, and he is already in communication, Terry, with NCAT and Kathy.
Oh, wonderful.
He's already apparently spoken with Kathy Daglish. He has a concept with her on how this presentation, I don't know its duration, but how the presentation could get into some kind of regular programming on the channel. So he has estimated 300 viewers. I don't have any more detail than that number, but if it does play a handful of times throughout a calendar year on NCAT, additionally, he has some really good information in his application about publicity. And a lot of the different Northborough groups, the gardening club, you know, the senior center, it sounds like he has contacts in all these different entities to get the word out and say, hey, it's out there. Go check it out on YouTube. Go catch it on the NCAT channel. So, you know, it's easy to infer that there would be the opportunity for a good number of people to see this performance or this presentation. He's asking for $450, which is the entirety of his funding request. So I'll take this piece by piece. I also asked for the detail. I believe this particular program, just like Leslie was describing a program, it's developed and it's replicable across many different communities. In fact, I believe he has offered to share this and applied for grants with over 50 different LCCs. So I'm sure it'll be a wonderful program and there could be a lot of people that would enjoy it. I imagine, though, it's much of the same base program that gets shared. Be that as it may, his request was, as I said, for $450 for the Northborough showing, and that's what he's asking of us.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, I don't have any comments or questions, but I love the idea, and even just thinking about spring and no snow, and I think that hits a lot of age groups that I think it sounds like it checks all the boxes. I think you got some fun ones, Greg.
It does. It checks many of the boxes. I gave it a fairly high score. I think I gave it a 19. And oh, by the way, I updated the spreadsheet. I had given Healing Garden a 22.
Okay.
So I gave this one a 19. The one box it doesn't check is I don't believe Mr. Root is a Northborough resident. Anyways,
Okay.
it clearly does. He is focusing on a viewership here in town.
No, and just to add on to that, it potentially could be greater than 300 because I would be curious to know, and I'm sure I actually, this is just open-ended question, but I think it goes up on the Northborough Cable YouTube channel as well, and possibly video on demand. So what that means is that anybody anywhere can call it up and look at it. So it's something nice, and any age group. Isn't that nice? Calming. So that's great. And you have one more, unless you have anything.
My last one is the Discovery Museum in Acton. They call this their open door connections. And essentially what they're asking is for subsidization in their operating budget to allow allow people to visit for a very reduced price, down to even $1 or free. So this is certainly applicable to Northborough. In their application material, they had data, I believe, if I understood it correctly, in 2019, they had 179 Northborough residents visit the museum. In 2020, even this past year, even though there were restrictions on distancing and COVID and such, they still thought they had 82 Northborough residents, and they are forecasting for this grant in 2021 up to 90 Northborough residents coming to visit the museum. So again, the money is for subsidization, basically a free ticket. They're asking for $300. It's not perfectly clear what the cost base is. They included about $1,400 of expense against the grant, mainly in salary. I'm not sure exactly what portion of the museum operations that is, but I think that pretty much summarizes it, though. You know, they go on to describe the kinds of customers that they offer free entry to, and they definitely do have, you know, certain schools, certain demographics that they have programs around free entry. And so that's the kind of thing we would be supporting. I think also for precedent here, we did a similar program with Worcester Art Museum 2 years ago.
Okay, good to know, because I didn't know about that.
I gave this one a 22 for what it's worth.
Does anybody have any questions or thoughts?
Just a comment, not a question. Column H, could you just update the name of the museum so it's an easy, quick look?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and I guess I need to ask Leslie to put her scoring in. That's great. Okay. And in keeping with Selvi's suggestion here, I'm going to put it to the group. I'm not seeing a definite no on this grouping either, or reason to reject. I see that it checks the boxes that we are looking to check. Does anybody have any thoughts or input on that, or disagree? Okay.
Well, I believe I said I wanted to pause on Healing Garden.
Yes, with the exception on that. Gotcha.
Go back and check on our notes from last year in our discussion.
Okay. And right. All right. And who would like to go next? Anybody else? Vic?
Well, Suzanne has her hand up.
Oh, okay. Suzanne, you're kind of in the dark. I didn't see your hand go up.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. So the first one I had was Crocodile River Virtual Concert Through Storytelling. Grab that one real quick. So this is the Crocodile River music group out of Worcester, who the grant is to have them perform at the K through 5 schools in Northborough. So they're a Worcester group, artists performing for Northborough audience. They want to do a virtual Zoom. So a couple of takeaways. The program, not last year, the year before, but 2 years before, we had sponsored them, granted them, I believe in 2018, but maybe Silva remembers. So we've granted them once before. But this year they want to do their show over Zoom, which is different. Let me think. There's about 400 students that would be in the 4 elementary schools that the Zoom would be available to or shown to or participate in. I don't know how they're going to have all the students at the same time do it. They don't go into their plans about that via Zoom. The total cost of the project on the more interesting side is they say they want to do it next month in February via Zoom. They say the total cost is $1,600. And that is also the total cost. That is what they're asking us to do. So it's a bit concerning that they need, they don't have any other funding stream. The entire $1,600 is for salaries and nothing else. That's their entire budget is salaries of $1,600. That we are the only, no PTOs or anything like that from any of the schools have participated. So we're the sole funder for $1,600, all for salaries, and it's next month. So that rated a little bit of a red flag. The program is a wonderful program. If you've seen it before or watched it on the web, this particular rendition did seem to raise up some red flags. Thus, I gave it a 20 because of the practicality of the funding, wanting us to do 100%, as opposed to having other organizations participate, and the time scale next month without any other group. So, any questions on them?
I guess I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going to guess that I don't know how they would possibly coordinate everything if there are 2 different cohorts of classes going on right now, how that would happen or how that would work out. That would be.
So I think that anytime someone only looks to us, it's always, a bit concerning. But I would like to go back and say, give us more details on the ramifications of you want to do this next month. And, our approvals are just don't even finish till March 1st after this has already occurred. Are you doing it anyway? Or you, if we don't how can you know you're going to get paid if we're doing it after the fact? Does that make sense? So I think there's some more information is needed, and I apologize I don't have it tonight.
No, that's great. I think this is how we ferret this out. Selby.
I see that they put down the 4 elementary PTOs may be able to offset some of the cost if the full amount is not funded.
But they said they haven't listed them as asking them for any money.
Yeah, not yet, only if they don't get the full amount. I do like the fact that all 4 of the elementary schools would be benefiting from this event, even though details are not clearly stated yet.
Yeah, that is an upside. It's the 4. How they would do it. I'm concerned that we're not going to get I love the group. So we've sponsored them in the past because it is an amazing cultural musical program to bring to kids. If you go to their website, you can see some of their work, and it's just, they're very good at what they do. So it's next month. We wouldn't even be able to confirm that we're going to be able to fund it. So I'm not quite sure what and yet we were listed as the one they wanted all the funds. So I think, yeah, it seems like some more information is needed. Either they're not being upfront about what the PTO is going to give, or they don't know about it at this point. I don't mean like deception, but they're not firm. So I'd like to take this back and get some more, because it is such a great program. The people who in Worcester who do the program. So is everybody okay with me doing that?
Yes. So just so I can get a sense of this, or maybe how they're looking at this, proposing it, is that they have enough money to do it, but it would reimburse themselves. I don't
to know. I'd hate for us to speculate without more information.
Yeah. Okay.
Can the PTOs do the whole thing? If we don't come through, will they be able to pick up any slack if we don't give them the full 1,600? Or they, I think we just need a little bit more.
Expand on the.
Thank you. So I'll go ahead and find out, because it's for the school and it's good. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need a little bit more clarification, but we do reimbursements anyway. So even if the PTO picked up the price and the event took place, we'll be able to reimburse them based on their invoices and expenses.
Yeah. So
that part should not be a problem.
Yeah. But if it's for salaries, would that be a problem? So yeah, exactly, Sylvie. Okay, my next one. So I gave it a low rating because of the fact that it's next month, and they don't have, and we're the only funder, and they don't have any guarantees of funds yet they're going to do it next month. So that there was one on budget, and they scored low on that, but that's more for me to go fix than anything else. So take the low rating with that in mind. Okay.
And then, so hopefully this would be reasonable, that they would be able to have some sort of comments or expand on some of the detail that we could discuss at the next meeting then, just so that their timelines are sensitive and, that we can get going too.
Yeah, because one of the questions on our criteria is, are they capable of having it if we don't, or are we going to be fundamental to them doing it? None of that's really answerable, because they're going to go ahead and do it without the money at the rate it's going. So, or not. So anyway, that's what, yeah, I'll go through. I'm repeating myself. I apologize. So the rating will improve based on those answers or stay the same, but that's the rating because of budget.
Okay.
Next one is the theater collaboration with Algonquin Regional High Schools, their drama department. This group is, let me get the right thing. So this is a group out of Mansfield performing in Northborough.
Suzanne, I'm going to cut you off because I'm an employee at the high school. I'm actually going to leave the room so I don't hear the discussions. I don't create a conflict of interest. Would somebody please text me and let me know when this discussion is over?
Yes, I didn't even.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the effort is for they're trying to hold it in the spring of 2021. So the time frame works. They're going to hold it in person at the Algonquin Regional High School, It is to service about 100 high school students plus some teachers. So some of the drama teachers, depending on how the teacher group works with this organization, what they decide to do. The total project is costs. Let me get this real quick. Sorry, wrong page. The total funding.
Looks like it might be 1,000. Is that right?
The total funding is $1,000. They are asking us for, we have a spreadsheet right here, but there's so many lines I can't. So it's $1,000, and they're asking us for $250. So they're asking us for 25%.
So
of the fees. So they're a non-Northborough group, a Massachusetts group coming to Northborough. They asking us for 1/4 of their total fees. They're asking Southborough to pay 1/4 of the fees. So 200 from us. They're requesting 250, every 250 from us, 250 from Southborough, since it's a high school and a joint audience. And then the other half, they're budgeting out of their own operating budget. So $500 there, which makes it attractive. They're putting $500 of their budgeting money into it. Their operating money, 250 they're requesting from Southborough, and 250 requesting from Northborough. So their budget looks very, and it's mainly for, reimbursing salaries and, stipends to the professionals doing the work. So they're going to hold what maybe in a lay person we can sing as like a master class for the dramas. And there's 3 different master classes they offer, type of master class type things they offer. They said they would be one of the 3, but they would, if the grants are approved, they would work with the drama department to figure out which one of the 3 best fit for the group of drama students they have. So the budgeting is good. The planning looks good. The community benefit, again, it's the high school, about 100 to 105 if you had teachers, people. They have a date. They are serving Northborough, even though they come from outside. So remember, we've always had that conversation, Any questions on that?
Did they apply last year? I seem to remember a theater group as well. We wanted to.
I think they were in the past, if I recall, we gave them $400 last year, and this year they're asking for $250. They're doing something different. So when they work with the department, the last year it was the same group, but it was a different effort, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
And we gave them $400 for that effort. They want less. This effort obviously is a more modest effort, but it is in person, which is nice. Wow. At the high school. Okay.
I don't have any questions. I think it checks a lot of boxes.
I gave them a 23 simply because they're not from Northborough, to get the 25. So the last one is the Northborough area. Any other comments? I'm sorry, or questions or comments on that one?
No.
The Northborough area community chorus is
you want me to text Selby? Get her
yes,
back?
Please. Thank
you.
And if anybody wants the details on the 3 different types of, I'm using the word masterclass that they are making available through this program. It's in the grant, and I can share, or you can look it up.
Okay.
I'll wait for Selby and I'll go on.
I think this is the fastest we've ever gone through a grant.
Love it. This is so organized. You guys really rock. You guys have done an amazing job of figuring out how to do this. Is she coming?
All right, there we go.
My last one for me to review today is the Northborough Area Community Chorus, or present today. It is a group that we have funded in the past. Last year and the year before, we have funded them. They are a Northborough organization serving Northborough, but of course, as it's choral, you get surrounding towns participating, but their audience is, they are hoping to put together a virtual, so this is virtual, it's different than their normal program in the summer. There's this coming summer. They plan to reach 1,000 people, but if it's virtual, I would imagine they're using run rates from the previous years of their chorus experiences and their seasons. But again, it does change it being virtual. Their total project is $6,400. Of that $6,400, they're asking us for $500. So a very modest percentage, less than 10% of what they are. They need, they're asking for us. So, and if you look at their budgetary stuff, so that is a plus in my mind. They have a lot of
funding.
People participating. Their budget is really well done. I mean, they have both their salaries, but they have space rentals. They have marketing, promotional stuff in here. They have supplies. So it is more than just paying stipends to artists. It seems like a very well worked out budget based on their previous years. From their revenue streams are coming from the majority of they ask multiple LLCs, I imagine, because it's a tri-borough kind of audience, as these courses generally pool. They have contribution funds. They have dues from members. They have ticket sales offsetting cost, and they had program ads offsetting costs. So they're asking us for $500. So their income and their expenses seem very strong. And the fact that they're only asking us for less than 10% of the overall cost seems to be very strong. They have 2,000 total for asking local LLCs. So I'd imagine most likely they've asked the surrounding towns for equal amounts of money, $500 each, which seems to be the methodology many use. So overall, I gave them a higher rating of a 25, simply because they were a small percentage of the overall money. They have a good budget. They're for Northborough, even though they do get, I'm sure they have singers from other places. They are called the Northborough Community Chorus. So that to me, is just another tick. So they meet all the criteria for what we look to, and the demographics of their audience.
Anybody can go, I think, to those.
Probably something, huh?
I think anybody can go to those, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So it is virtual this year. So I maybe actually take my rating down, just because I think that maybe is a different experience, maybe not as a rich of experience, although I understand the need for it. So any questions on the Northborough Area Community Chorus?
No. Sounds really nice.
Okay.
I'm actually listening to all of these things. I just want to go and see something other than sitting on my couch for Netflix.
Although one of mine need more information, especially on the whole budgetary side. These are three very strong cultural things. One is a children's cultural event, which is just amazing. The crocodile things, I think I've even seen them before. They're amazing, even though I have to work some things out there. The other one, the drama, of course, is a great group. And then the chorus is a great group. So three different things, but three very strong things. Yes, Ellie?
I just wanted to add that Northborough Area Community Chorus did a wonderful presentation at our grantee reception last year.
That's right.
They were amazing.
So, yeah, and they are Northborough people performing for Northborough people. So, that's always our most favorite of favorites, right?
Yep.
But anyway, they're all wonderful. And no questions. I will expect at next meeting to come back with an update on the one where the budget needed some questions answered, if that's approved, if that's okay with everybody.
I think that sounds great. Great research, great overview. I'm getting excited about hearing all these things and how many different areas are going to have something to see, something to do. And we're figuring it out. So fantastic job, guys. Okay.
I apologize. I have to step away again, but
Sure.
I will
Yes, thank you.
read through the rest and ask any questions of anybody that's assigned stuff. I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Bick, I think you had your hand up next.
Yep, next. Okay, so we are very familiar with Art on the Trails by, or submitted by Catherine Weber. This is an exhibition of artwork and poetry with a guided tour if you wish. It's very COVID friendly because a lot of people go for walks, it's easy to social distance, and it's a great integration of nature plus, artistry. They actually have a juror who selects like winners, etc., and then they have a very qualified poets to do the to manage the poetry section. So they've got leads and professionals like coming in to put this program together. So it is at the Beals Preserve, which is in Southborough, so it's a neighboring town. Looking to cover about 800 people is what they said. Their total program is $7,650, but they're only asking for $500. And I think we're very familiar with what they do. The little downside, I gave it a 24 or 25, is that it doesn't primarily serve Northborough. It's just Northborough, Southborough, anybody can attend. I mean, in close distance, good enough, but that's the only minor point.
So okay, go ahead, Sylvie. I was just going to ask, so Art on the Trails, is it something, I think, or maybe you already mentioned it, went over this, that it's a guided tour, so it's a specific time? Or
you wear a thing, you got a tour, but it's also, without the guided tour, you can just walk the trails and look at the artwork and the poetry that they display.
Okay.
It's a display of artwork.
Okay, Sylvie.
So you can do it yourself without any guidance.
Okay.
I have a question for Craig. I can't remember from the top of my head if Catherine Weber had requested a reimbursement for their grant from past year or not. They did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. That's great.
I believe they put out a absolutely beautiful promotion package for last year. They were very kind and sent us a copy of it. I saw it because it came in the mail, a glossy brochure, really some wonderful things. I believe they were slightly constrained in what they could put on because of distancing and such. But yes, they were able to use their grant for some of their expenses.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. And it's a great program. Outdoors and art, what could be better, right?
Yeah. They actually have a kind of cool saying, I had to read it a couple of times to understand it, is that not only does it bring the community together with nature, but it's to address a nature deficit disorder. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, nature deficit disorder. Like sometimes we just spend too much time indoors or in offices and buildings. We don't really interact with nature. So that's actually a disorder, I guess. So something we don't, we're not attuned to, but it's good. Okay, the next item is really interesting. So Jesse Green is actually a doctor. He got his doctorate from Keene State. Is he didn't study there. He was just awarded something. His middle name is The Machine. So if you look him up, there's a different Jesse Green. So it's Jesse the Machine Green. His program is called Chainsaw Cheeseburgers and Rock and Roll, and it's a slideshow presentation of I'd say like inspiring, I guess, pictures and items that children can relate to. So it works best with middle school kids, and then high school kids, and then elementary, because I think for the focus reason. And he addresses and encourages them to follow their dreams. And so through using this funny slideshow with the pictures to complement his vibrant words in his presentation, he puts together like this kind of like a rah-rah, kids be positive, stay positive, follow your dreams, the whole bit. And it also has a lot of humor. He has snippets that you can see on his website of little sessions that he's had, how the kids and how much they enjoy it, how all the principals and teachers have glowing things to say about him. He's unique in that he initially is a chainsaw sculptor, so he's known worldwide. And so you have say ski resorts and actors and famous people and restaurants and in line for one of his famous wooden sculpture. And so that's how he began. He's also part of a cover band called Fever Dream, Fevah, Fever Dream. So that's where the rock and roll part of it comes in. I could not find the reference to cheeseburgers though. So the chainsaw, I got the rock and roll, and I don't know about the cheeseburger, but it's very fun, uplifting, rah-rah. It's good for the mind. It's good for, children's well-being. The only concern I had was he would come to the school. I couldn't tell which school he would come to unless he planned on doing middle school, high school. I don't know. It wasn't clear. So he kind of had this 2,000 people reach, which kind of seems like the whole entire district or region. But it was a full ask of $500, and it's just really to pay for himself. So not sure if that's like one session for $500 or how many schools within Northborough might he go to. And it wasn't clear that it would just be Northborough, because obviously if he went to Algonquin, then it benefits Northborough, Southborough. So location was the only questionable thing. So I gave him a 23. Although that I tend to score on the high side as I've been listening to other people. Craig?
Looking at the evaluation sheet in the first category, in the material that was given to us, has this program been put on before? Are there any other reviews or?
Oh yeah, a ton of reviews, and you can see snippets of of at least 4 or 5 on his website that he's he knows how to market himself, that's for sure. So
as Sylvie said on one of the other grants, we can approve them for the grant, and it's up to them to find the venue, put on the show, right. And we only reimburse after the event happens.
Yeah, so I figured it wouldn't be a loss or any kind of concern from that perspective. He is using the school as the advertising portion of it. So he's leaving it up to the school to do the communication. So, but I have a feeling it's only one event, unless it's like a big enough that you pull together different grades into the auditorium or something like that. So I'm not quite sure. If I can follow up with that if you want, or but I believe it's just $500 one time.
If he did have a target school, previously a lot of the grants come in where they already have arrangements with the library or with the senior center or with somebody. I know as Selby reminded us, we're allowed to approve grants for open venues, but it would be nice to know he at least had some kind of audience in development.
Yeah, okay. I guess, and I'm still thinking with COVID, since how would you?
He said he could also do it virtually.
Oh,
okay. It would be like a Zoom kind of thing, or he's just presenting, but it looked better interactive because the kids are engaged with it's his personality. He's big and he's vibrant, and he's got cool glasses on, and and then he makes them yell things, like what did you say? So it doesn't work if you're sitting by yourself, even though you might be laughing at what he's doing. I don't think the effect's the same, but he did make the statement that it could be managed virtually.
Probably the goal is to do something with people there live. So I
Yeah.
guess that would remain to be seen, and up to him to, as people have said before, up to him to figure that out.
Yep. Okay. And the last one I thought was really cool, but I already have a but here. It's basically a festival just like ours. It features painting, photography, and music are the three central themes. In 2020, they had 210 artists, whereas in the prior year was 185. So that's a lot of artists, 210, because we know what it takes to get 6 artists on stage. So in 2021, they plan to include theater and sculpture and local art schools and students work as well. So it's basically a music and art festival. It is open to everybody, but it's based in Grafton. It's actually at the Grafton Library and also partially online. It's mostly free, but some performances do require tickets. And it's very well organized. They do it in concert with 2 other organizations, the Blackstone Valley Art Association and the Worcester County Camera Club and the Apple Tree Arts, which is a Grafton music program. So they get all the surrounding art and music associations to support them. That's how they're able to put on like 200 and something artists. So their total cost is $18,400, but they're only asking $500. So they are asking other. They do have other grants, and they've gotten free like display panels, free location rental costs. So they've managed to organize this very well locally. It'll be in the October timeframe, reaching about 1,000 people. It's just not really directly Northborough. It's just like one circle out, from this round.
Through the years, we've reviewed other programs, wonderful festivals and things like this. So criteria was, are they Northborough artists that are performing? And I didn't hear that. And then is it Northborough constituents going to it, or is it in Northborough? And it didn't sound like we ticked any of those boxes.
Maybe constituents going, but we would never know. And I don't think they'd be able to.
How would you know?
By that, yeah, right. But to be honest, I mean, if they've been around a few years, this is the first time I've heard of them. So which means, their advertising hasn't gotten to Northborough.
And then maybe it's worth them doing something, reaching out to the rec department or something to help advertise. I don't know, but this sounds like a lot of fun. How have I never heard of this? I looked for this stuff.
No, I said, wow, this is like pretty cool. This is something that we like would aspire to become, kind of thing, still on a local level, but bigger than what we've done. As maybe it would be, what do you call it when you approve with the
condition?
Thank you. With the condition that they at least advertise directly in Northborough, so that you get somebody to come. And you don't know, maybe Northborough artists are applying to be part of their festival. We don't know that. So I could ask that question.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead, Craig.
Well, Sylvia raised her hand, but I saw you rude and blurted out there.
Go.
Bickford, some of these programs that have done this before and have applied for grants before and know the grant process, it seems like some of them do understand how to put these elements in. And so to me, it is something that they haven't included that, because I think one of the grant questions says, how does this impact that community? But I would be willing to ask them the question if they can give us anything else to work with. Otherwise, this feels like some of the programs that we've had to pass on in the past, again, for that criteria of focusing more on Northborough.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I can't tell if they applied to the Worcester Council or anything like that. They didn't say that.
They're supposed to put that in there.
Yes, I don't think they had it. So I'll have to double check. I have to pull it up. So, Well, I mean, like, regardless, they are only asking 500, so they did know not to ask for some $18,000 or anything like that. So, so they are kind of spreading around because they did say that they have, they would support themselves via other grants that they have, and they do apply to different ones, not just different LCCs. They didn't mention other LCCs, but they mentioned different vehicles of getting more funds.
I agree with Craig that if they could give us something to work with so we can approve them as Northborough Cultural Council, benefiting our own community, then that would, we would have something to work with. And they sound wonderful. What a great program. They should advertise more so they can get participation from surrounding towns for such a large event, it sounds like. But Vic, if you don't mind getting back to them and asking that question, that'd be great.
Michelle? Yep. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. Who would like to go next? Selvie and Lori. Go ahead, Lori.
Thank you. Okay, let me see. So I have two applications that are pretty straightforward. So one is the Charles River Sinfonietta. Is this Applefest Chamber Music concert with the Charles River Sinfonietta on cable TV. So they are not from Northborough, and this is a program that they will do on cable TV, so it's not a live concert, and they are planning to record it at the Quincy Library. They have already done one type of these programs with the Quincy cable TV. And they are planning to do one to record it and then have it performed on cable TV in Northborough, Milton, Quincy, and Watertown in 2021. So this is what they are applying for. They are asking for $600 out of $2,000. That will be mostly salaries, and yeah, let me see what score I gave them, if I can find my papers. I gave them a 21 because it does not primarily serve Northborough. Yeah,
I'm sorry, is this a virtual event only?
Yeah, it's a virtual only. It's on cable TV only, yes.
How is it an Applefest event?
During Applefest in September 2021, they don't say actually how will they include it. Applefest did not announce that they'll be virtual or anything, right? I don't know.
No.
They did not say it clearly, or at least I didn't see it.
Or maybe they have something in Quincy, because you mentioned Quincy. Maybe they have their own Applefest and it's not.
No, Northborough Applefest. So they say that in 2021, we hope to perform a similar concert in Quincy Library. This is where they'll do it. Video it and show it on cable TV in Quincy and a few other towns, including for the Northborough Applefest.
Okay. Selvie.
Yeah.
I don't know if this information will help clarify, but Charles River Sinfonietta has applied, as you know, a few times to our grants, and we did grant them. Yeah. The first time they've always applied for the Applefest event. The first grant was in person during Applefest. The second grant, unfortunately, the event didn't happen in person. So Mr. Litoff did the same strategy. He recorded down at Quincy Library and submitted this into NCAT as part of 2020 Apple Fest events, and he emailed us about his modification, and the subcommittee reviewing the modification had approved this request. And so he was granted, and Craig, I'm not sure if his grant has been carried through and reimbursed. Okay, so it's been reimbursed. So I'm thinking that there's a presumption of Apple Fest 2021 being virtual as well.
Right.
But maybe in his evaluation of the current situation, he feels that that is a more sure way of planning the event and making it happen than just saying it's going to be in person, depending on the COVID guidelines at that time. So Lori, if you could maybe go back to him and clarify and maybe pose the question, what happens if Northborough does have in-person Apple Fest? Would he still be submitting his work virtually? And if it is, you know, this year we are allowed to approve virtual and or in-person events.
But does it make a difference to us, to our process? It does not make a difference.
It does not make a difference. It's just
right.
extra information. The only part that it makes a difference to is that, like, did he already inform Apple Fest part, right?
Right.
And maybe he's just planning to submit it during that time, and maybe he's not associated with Apple Fest. We don't really know.
Right.
And he has been associated with Apple Fest for the past 2 years, and apparently for this upcoming year, nobody's sure how things are going to go.
Exactly. So they are preparing for everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. Go on to the next one, I guess.
Okay.
I don't have any more questions.
Let's see. The next one is Lisa Hayden, who has been one of our grantees in the past years. She has a program called By the Ocean, Paintings and Poems, where she's planning to do an exhibition with paintings and poems that have inspired them. It will be about 10 to 15 paintings. She has a very good wording for it. She's saying that during this time of travel restrictions, many of us have missed being by the water and seeing the ocean. I would like to create an exhibit that captures the feeling of being by the ocean again. And poems that inspire the artwork, artistically printed and displayed. This will be done in fall 2021. Estimated number of people served 150. Depending on the COVID restrictions, the location will be the library, the senior center, or even the Northborough Culture Fest. She is asking for $600 out of $1,200. No, out of $2,700. And if we cannot give the full amount of 600, she might scale back the project. Yeah, I didn't see any problem with this one. For what we're dealing with right now, the location is not set, the time is not exactly set, but it is what it is for the times. Any questions? Okay, next one is more unusual. Okay. The applicant is John Porcino. I'm assuming he has a program called To Life Celebrations in Story, Song and Music. It's like a storytelling and music performance for about 40 participants, offered for free. Now, he does not have a location. For location, we have listed a school, library, a senior center, fair, festival. But he is asking us the Northborough Cultural Council to recommend a location, and he will approach them. Let me get to the money part. He is asking for 425 out of 425. Not very clear what would happen if we cannot offer the full amount. If partial funding is necessary, I will do my best to find a venue that will match part or all of remainder, depending on the total amount. I will likely go forward with the program anyway, or the funds will be released back to the council. So it's interesting that he wrote a letter to us. So the applicant he's very aware that we need very Northborough centered programs. He says you will see that the program does not have an originator in town. So I don't expect that this kind of grant will take a priority. But if we plan to go forward with the proposal, please send me the phone or email of the local venue sponsor who you would like me to contact. I will follow through.
Lori? Sorry,
yeah.
Sylvia had her hand up.
Go ahead, Craig. We're probably thinking a lot.
I'm sorry if I missed it. Did you say this program has previously been put on for others, or it's already developed? Or this is something he would be developing for a venue we help him find?
No, it looks like it's a program that he's been doing in other places for other locations and other towns. Like he has it up already, yeah.
We had a similar situation, I believe it was last year or the year before, with one of our applicants, and similar request, phone number and or email for a contact. And I believe I had connected them with the library and the senior center to begin with. And our library had actually taken them on and given them a venue and a date readily, and the program had happened. So
this sounds like a wonderful program. It's all about feeling good, about I share stories and songs that tickle life's funny bone and touch the heart. At its best, it's a celebratory feeling that leaves the audience happy, connected, and a little bit more able to take on life with gusto. I mean, it sounds very good for the program itself. It's just that it doesn't click the boxes of anything unless we.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Lori, I noticed that you only rated it as a 9, and is that because it's not
so community benefit does not click planning, does not click any of the boxes. The budget, again, all the budget is required from us. Local criteria, none of the boxes that time.
So what kind of questions can you go back to him with then, Sylvie?
Lori, I wonder if you could connect with our library in town and see if they would be interested in his offer and in his program. And if they say yes, we would be interested in, just give us his information, then we can maybe connect the two parties, and then we'll see all those boxes being checked off, because there's the
right
events, local benefit, and whatnot.
And maybe that would be something for the senior center as well. I'm not sure. They do have a new director, so I don't know what they're doing or how that would work for them. But
even the library has a new director, right?
Yes, actually, you're right.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned you gave the low or no score because they asked for the full budget. That's allowed, Lori.
Well, in our list of scoring list, it was it didn't check the boxes, so that's why we have it on our list, right?
It's
I don't proud. I'm just going by this. Yeah, this doesn't have to carry all the weight, right? Our score.
Right. It so on the new revised.
Right. I know.
It's okay. So.
Right.
Very
So they
good.
get
That's interesting.
credit.
So
Okay.
I guess if you have anything for the next meeting, if he can connect with them, that would be very helpful.
I will try
That
the
would,
library. I will ask. Yeah.
yeah,
And
just
forward them
to,
some
that would
details
help him.
from his. Absolutely. Yeah.
So perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. You hit it all. Sylvie, go for it.
Okay, I feel like I got pretty straightforward grants. The first one is from Massabit Valley Master Singers. We are very familiar with them. We have administered grants for them in the past. This grant is for their concert season 2021. They are planning 3 concerts, one of which has already happened in December. And per our guidelines, that's okay. We can also grant past events from previous 6 months. And the first event happened in December of 2021, and it was a live stream. And the video of it is actually available on their website right now. So anybody can log on and click on it and watch it anytime. It's a free live stream. So the other 2 events are scheduled for, let me make sure I have the right dates, early spring. The location is to be determined, and May, the location is to be determined. However, in spring, they will be featuring Orf's Carmina Bruna, and in May, they will be featuring Poulenc's Gloria and Forrest's Requiem. And if they can find, they would prefer to be in person. And if in either the spring and or May, COVID situations allow, then they would like to find one of the many venues that they usually perform at. But if they're not available, they will work on bringing another live stream and or virtual event.
Okay.
They are a large choral group. They serve the communities of Northborough, Westborough, Southborough, and Marlborough. They may or may not be performing physically in Northborough, but they do have members in the group performing with them, and they do have a large Northborough following. Their total cost for this concert season is projected to be $52,975. They are asking for $1,000 from Northborough Cultural Council. And that's all the information I do have. They do have other grants. They have large partnerships with community businesses, sponsors, memberships. They offer free tickets to senior centers, and all the live streaming will be free.
Okay, I just want to clarify. This is for Symphony Pro Musica?
No, this is for Assabet Valley.
AVM. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
Any questions? And I have rated 22, and only because the community benefit is there, but they got 4 out of 5, only because we're not sure how many people would be live streaming, and or I'm sure they will be publicizing heavily. And again, local criteria down there was that, if there was a physical venue in Northborough or not. But again, these are not within this more relaxed guidelines. There are really not too many big points to be worried about. And another point that we are looking at is that are there technological considerations that would impact quality? So when an event goes live stream and or virtual, technological issues could be sometimes an impediment too. So that's a consideration as well. But they're a wonderful group. They work hard. They're well liked and attended. And I look forward to hopefully seeing them back in person one day, personally. And
Yes.
I'm going to jump back to, as you mentioned, Symphony Pro Musica. So they're the instrumental group. It's almost like their instrumental counterpart. They are also requesting funding for their spring summer 2021 concert series. If they can have it in person, they like to perform at Hudson High School and at St. Mark's School in Southborough. St. Mark's School in Southborough. They estimate to serve about 1,000 people. First time attendants are always free. Students are free. They give free tickets to seniors and discounted tickets to groups. And they have never turned anybody down because they could not pay. Their total project cost is projected to be $32,400, and they are asking from us for $500. They do state that they have Northborough members, and they have Northborough community members who do follow them, who are not members, who do attend their concerts. They did state that if they cannot do in-person performance, they will apply monies to what they call SPM as a musical resource effort with virtual programs. So they bring either musical trainings or shows to different venues across the region. So they have a plan for that too. I thought their budget was laid out very nicely. They do say that they apply to other LCCs, and that's what it is. Again, I scored, I gave them a score of 22. The third one, that's a new one. It is called Happy Holidays, and our applicant is Ruth Harkowitz. The event is planned for December 7th, 2021, and it is expected to take place at the Senior Center in Northborough. She is the vocalist, and she will be coming with her pianist to do this event. She will be dressed in very celebratory holiday outfit, and she wants to just bring joy to seniors and veterans, two of the underserved communities, segments of our population in our community. It is free, and she does already have an endorsement from the Senior Center. And it just sounds like a fabulous event. There was no reference to any virtual format of this event. So it was planned as in person. So I'm not sure what happens if that can't happen. That's the only kind of question I have.
Nice job. I don't have any questions.
Oh, thank you. And I gave her a score of 23.
Nice job. Yep. I've been following along. I have another monitor over here so I can stay on top of things. I have minutes printed out and notes, and okay, so my turn. I'm gonna start with Solar Jazz Festival. Everybody's heard of this before, and I'll start off and say that I scored with a 22. If you recall, the Solar Jazz Festival is combines musical acts. There's an element of environmental topics that are discussed, displayed by virtue of bringing electric cars and solar power and displays. One of the participants is Kathleen Howland. She is one of the school committee members, but she has also a professor at Berkeley and School of Music. And so it's just a nice afternoon music festival. And it's something that we have supported as a group before. So I don't think it's going to be any surprise. The proposed place, this is First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church. So it sounds like, again, on the lawn. One of the reasons, let's see, I guess some of my concerns were how to hold this with, it would be weather sensitive, it would be COVID rules or restrictions. So the date is not determined as yet. The full amount that they are looking for is $3,500 for their total project. They have requested an amount of $2,500. They have additional income of $1,000. They have marketing and promotion. So they checked a lot of boxes. More funding possible from corporate and private sources. So that was one of the things that I was watching for, as were many of you. Let's see. I think so. Again, I scored 22 on this because it's held in Northborough. There are Northborough participants, and I don't know. I like this. This is where I was really introduced to the Northborough Cultural Festival, and so I have fond memories of this, and being able to see it in person, it was really fabulous, and being able to see artists that were that were local and you could talk to. So does anybody have any questions on this one? No? Okay, I will move on. The next one, it's duo pianists, composers, and educators with Whipple and Morales in concert. I think I'm pronouncing it right. So the applicant is Kirk Whipple. I scored this with a 19. It's primarily based around the Cape, and they would need to contact the cable TV stations from the LCCs where they are applying to. So in other words, if they receive funding from that area, that's how I understood it. They receive funding, then they would approach the cable TV station to play their concert. But from the materials that they supplied, it's professional level. It looked very nice. When I say around the Cape, it says Wareham, East Wareham, Middleborough. These are places where they have focused. And last year was virtual for them, but they have been doing this for this year will be their 16th season of their annual music festival. So I don't know if you guys have any memory of them applying in the past. I don't remember this, but I found it fascinating. Some of the music that they were talking about playing is some flamenco and tango, and and give a nod, a tribute to Liberace. So interesting music. It's in Massachusetts. It's not in Northborough. They would be. I think that's where I really kind of came down on the scoring, because it wasn't the Northborough piece really was missing for me. So it'd be recorded, and but Cranberry Coast Concerts. So I printed it out, but they included some of their the listing of their different performances that they've done. But it looks fascinating, looks different. You would just have to rely on people watching it on TV, so the local cable channel. So any questions on that? Selvi.
Just a comment. I mean, I think nowadays that seems to be a reliable option for a lot of artists to reach their audiences by partnering through local cable TV.
Do you have any questions that I should go back to them with? Because I felt that they were really thorough. I printed everything out and I was marking up everything. And nothing really jumped out at me, even after listening to all of your commentary. But I guess the only thing that stood out was just the Northborough tie. So I know we'll get into money and so forth later, but that was that one. I'll move on to the last one. And the last one is, it's presented, the applicant is Chamber Music Metro West, and it's called Musical Story Times. And so this one was fascinating to me. I gave it a score of 23 out of 25. And it has 2 play dates, March 6th and November 6th of 2021. And the place that it would be taking place would David French Music in Westboro or online. And so it would be geared toward pre-K to 12, so students, school children. It'd be after school. And so it would be, as I understood it, like chamber music and storytelling. And so, I mean, really any age could enjoy something like this. It sounds like storytelling with really nice music in the background. And so easily able to go virtual. They are asking for their total project, I'll start with that, is $3,145, and they are requesting 350 from Northborough Cultural Council. They have editing fees. They have they've got some marketing and promotion thoughts put together here. Rehearsal times, and so it seemed like something really nice. And so yes, I scored a 23 for that one. And I think I'm in line with how you guys are examining and critiquing some of these too. I think it fit. So so something to consider. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. All right. So we have made it through reviewing everything. Yay, everybody. And fabulous job. I guess I'm going to say that, maybe we have working groups and then meet again formally next Thursday. I will request a meeting for next Thursday. So Bic, I guess in terms of agenda for next Thursday, just really going over these grants, just answering any open questions. And I will submit. Yes, Sylvie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Terry. I just have a question to clarify. I guess this goes down as one of our voting minutes, even though we are reviewing the grants. And we'll probably keep posting it as our voting meetings.
Oh, this meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
This meeting and the next, and until we're done, basically.
Until we're done. Okay.
But Sab, I'm sorry, I'm confused. You want us to vote on the applicants?
No, not necessarily, but I think it's, the process of voting for applications have started, right? We're discussing them. And I think we have to make a special note for the purposes of reporting to MCC annual report that today's meeting, we started reviewing the applications.
Okay, so I'll just put that as a
so I don't know how to really word it, but we started the review process.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll note it as such in the minutes.
And then Selvi, when I'm finishing up with the MCC, I guess I'm going to annual report. I'm going to have to, I guess, connect with you to find out, because that was one of the sections, the voting meetings, because I just don't have the history. And then I guess at the next meeting too, and I don't have any further agenda, but I would like to talk about the grant reception. So thoughts about how to do that. And so that's for next Thursday. It'll be a light meeting, I think. And after that, I think we're done for this evening. Thank you everyone for your time. This was a lot to cover. I'm very appreciative. This was huge, and all the help and coaching I've had this past month and past couple days, and even up to the hour before getting it, and fabulous. Thank you, everyone.
So are we following up on our open questions at the next meeting, or should we do it via email to everybody?
I would say at the next meeting to discuss any outstanding questions before we start the voting. This was only a couple. I mean,
there was only a couple, yeah.
I feel the same way. It looks like there may be only a couple of them that could go either way, but all of them are, all the other ones seem to be just more additional information and clarification.
Okay. Yep, so that's the only two things that I have for agenda would be just to answer those open questions. I guess, yeah, and then the grantee reception, that's the last open item. And that's it. And I guess if nobody has anything else, do I hear a motion?
I thought there was a few other, I'm sorry.
Oh, you had
asked about a woman's information on the website in the email.
Reverie's bio.
I don't know who Reverie is, but the link to the harpist person off of
yes,
links that's to
Reverie.
The website. But I if you want to change the actual write up on the screen and the picture, you have those files.
Yes, I did that. So Reverie, the harpist, pianist, whatever, the duos, they wanted to give credit to the person who wrote their song.
So when you click on their name, you link to that woman's webpage. But I don't have. But if you want to include a write up in the picture, the slides you did.
I did that. And that's what I said.
Put something in the actual verbiage of her.
I did.
That would be good, and I can replace it. But I did do the link part.
Hold on, let me double check. Okay, so Reverie's bio. Yeah, so it wasn't it's not quite a link. It's not a clickable link, but it's mentioned. So I wrote about the song Nightingale was composed by Deborah Henson Conant. She's a composer, blah, 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 blah. And then also you can go here. So it's hipharpacademy.com, whatever. So that itself is not a link because it doesn't have the HTTPS in front of it, but somebody can type in hipharpacademy.com and it takes them there.
Okay, so look at what's up there with the changes that I think I made that you wanted made. And if it's not what you wanted, just write exactly what you'd like me to do.
Which I did. I already wrote exactly.
I thought I did it then. Okay, then I think we're done. Okay.
And I sent you the version 2. So it's already in that PowerPoint format. Same thing, that you can just upload that version 2.
Okay, so the linking is there. Okay, it's already there. I wasn't quite sure.
So do we need to reply back to her? I think Craig wanted us to reply back to her or something, so that reply back to Reverie so that Reverie can tell this composer the information is there. I think that's how.
Catherine Burmeister, is that who you mean by Reverie?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how.
I might have already sent something, but I can.
No worry, I'll follow up with him. Okay.
Craig. Okay. Something. It was quite a while ago, and I want to say Craig might have.
I think he did it. I think it's done, but I'll double check. Okay.
Okay, and
you just wrote it for the agenda today, so I just want to make sure we're closed.
Yes, that one, 2 other items. So what did we do with the thank you notes? Did we? I don't know.
I have them here, and so thank you, Suzanne, for delivering those. So my last step all right if I just write all the addresses on them and I
That's
should
all
be
you
able to
need to
find
do.
them online? Pop a stamp on them and that's it, right?
And Sylvie, you wrote the insides if you didn't know it, Sylvie.
I did.
Good job.
Mine's
It was
like-
very nice. I
I
read
have
it.
borrowed words from the past from you, honey.
Isn't it our standard 3 nice sentences about art and stuff like that?
A little
Yes.
slightly edited for
Okay.
relevance for it being virtual.
Yes.
So
So
I'm letting Sylvie know she wrote the inside. She didn't know she did, but she did.
Okay.
Looks beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks funny. We have come together. Yeah, Vic and I have done that
Very nice.
back. Yes.
Vic, you wrote it too.
Well,
Sorry, Vic. I didn't know
Yeah,
you.
no, yeah, I think I came up with the original and then it was
it's beautiful.
All right, well, yeah. I know I can
Everybody gets credit for it.
not out there.
It's a group effort. I
Yeah.
also have a reminder that our conflict of interest training and open meeting training is due.
Yes.
And there are a lot of emails coming in. So
Yeah.
I had just seen it tonight, looking through our stuff. So just wanted to remind everyone, schedule that in if you can, so we can be
It
done.
shouldn't be hard. I have
And I think you just send it in. You don't need to send it in to me, I don't think. I think it
No.
just goes into the
The
town.
town clerk.
That's it. Yep. So just in case you were going to ask. Yes.
So one more thing for the agenda for next week. I took on the action to look into public art. I've
Yes.
corresponded with Luis and we spoke on the phone as well to clarify some stuff. Still some more legwork to do. He's making some
Okay.
introductions to some other towns for me, to people he's worked with in a particular town that seems like a fit, other than Cambridge, which is a totally different animal. And we're not really, what they did,
No.
we probably can't, they have a lot of different opportunities that we don't. So hopefully next week I can give an update. So if we can put that in the agenda,
Yes. Please.
and I can write up where we are and what he's shared and some thoughts, and then at least give a status on it.
Thank you for adding that. Yeah, that's sort of energizing to think that we could add some permanence to this town.
He's so amazing. It's going to take a while, it's not a quick thing, but it's very
I'd like it to.
He was
Wouldn't it
extremely
be
excited.
cool to have something? All I can think of is like that reflective sculpture in Chicago, I think, that looks like a bean.
Yes, exactly.
Like how
Yes, I
fun.
love the bean. Yes, I know exactly. And the aluminum reflective. So I bring you to page 2 of the guidelines here. And under it, it says, if you can read that, public art for one of our guidelines and what we're supposed to give money to. You see?
Yep, so we can do it.
Anyway,
I love it.
I thought I should share.
I'd love to have our own bean. That'd be
Now?
fun.
No, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah,
This is
some fruit or vegetable would be fun.
baked beans. No, I'm just kidding.
And Boston might have already have
All right. Thank
have
you.
that. Thank you, everyone.
So,
Anybody
sorry,
else?
yeah, one thing for you, Terry. What happened with the write-up you did about our VCF?
Oh, I sent it in and
Who
to Liz Nolan,
Okay.
and she said she was going to get to that, but I don't recall seeing another email on that. I forgot to follow up, but she said she was going to address that, but she didn't come back to me and say, "Hey, it's going in this." I'll ask. That's a good question. Okay.
I actually have a motion to make, and my motion is to form a subcommittee who will be looking at the distribution of the grant money across approved applications. Once we go through the yes or no voting process,
Okay.
this subcommittee would kind of allocate the money and then come back and present it to the rest of our council or all of our council members.
So like as a starting point, you mean, like you did last year, right? So 1 or 2 people or one person to do the first round of allocation? Make it easy for the rest of us? Okay.
Yeah,
I second the motion.
You too?
Yep, okay, so we have a first with Selvey, second with Suzanne. And so need to yays or nays. So Bick?
Can we be clearer, like how many people are on this committee?
I would say
Who
no
was
more than
it?
3. I think 2 or 3 would be enough.
Okay. Do you want to determine who first before we?
Yes, that's.
Okay. Happy to be on the committee. No? Okay.
All right, I'll be on the committee, and who else would? I think our treasurer should be in, but that's of course his choice.
I serve at the will of the group.
Okay, so
Need some guidance as far as how to deal with.
Do you want to make a new motion, Selvey, with the 3 people?
All right, I'll amend my motion to form a subcommittee made out of myself, Terry, and Craig to initially distribute the grant allocations on approved applications.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a first with Selvey, second with Suzanne. Now, Vic?
I approve.
Okay, Selvey?
I approve.
Suzanne?
I approve.
Craig?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And yes. So we have unanimous across the board. Good call, Selvey. All right. I don't have any other business. I'm going to be very busy with things here. So we're off to a really great start. All right. Anybody have a motion? We can.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Second with first with Craig, second with Suzanne. Vic.
Yes.
Selvey.
Yes.
Suzanne.
Yes.
Craig.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
And yes. So we are adjourned for the evening. Thank you, John. And it's 9:15. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good night,
Terry.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
John.